Hey, this is Mark with your Tax Wit Wednesday. All right, you sold a home. What about capital gains? If you're like me and you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, capital gains was a dirty word almost. You heard about it, you're like, ooh, capital gains. Well, if you sell a house, you can only sell it once, or if you sell it, you can buy another house, and that's the only way to avoid getting crushed by capital gains tax. Well, that was a loophole that the IRS through Congress tightened in 2004, which basically said you can't do a like-kind exchange for personal property anymore. So they did make some new rules though, and so if you do sell a house and you make less than $250,000 if you're single, or $500,000 on the sale of the house, if you're married or were married when your spouse died, then you don't have to pay the capital gains. You get that exemption. Now, there's a couple rules on that. One, you have to live in it and own it for 2 of the past 5 years. That's the anti-flipper rule. So you can't be, buying a house, live in it for 6 months and then say, oh yeah, I don't have to pay taxes. That's why it's 2 years. You only pay tax on the gain, which is above what you paid for invested in the property, and that includes improvements you made or anything that's going to increase the value of the home. You can also write off seller expenses, things like that. Now, so if you bought a house for $250,000, you sold it for $525,000, but you put over $30K into the house, well, you won't pay capital gains tax. What if you inherited a house? Well, no problem. It's the gain from the fair market value on the date of death to what it actually sells for. So you're actually not going to get killed on that. But you need to report it. You need to keep the worksheet, because if the IRS gets a 1099-S, which is only going to say how much the property sold for in your name, well, then you might get a bill for the entire amount counted as income. I just had to help a client who got a bill for $169,000 bill. Well, if you can survive the heart attack you have when you open that letter, give me a call. Come see me. That's Mark, your tax wit, with Tax Tip Tuesday. See you next time.